Welcome to the Discovery Metal Legion and welcome to another episode. Today we're focusing on the best metalcore albums of 2022 so far. I'm going to make it pretty short and simple on this video since DML really loves to talk a lot in his videos, but I'm going to give you my favorite 10 metalcore albums of the year so far. So granted, it has been a pretty good year for metalcore. I can name you about 20 metalcore albums that I enjoyed, but there's only room for 10 spots. Let me know in the comments below your favorite metalcore albums. Maybe you will discover metalcore on this video, but I really do enjoy it. Is it that hard for one person to love all metal, including black metal, death metal, doom metal, groove metal, new metal, and so on? So coming in at number 10 is none other than Secret and the album Collapse. If you like a bit of hardcore elements in your metalcore, you're going to really enjoy this. The riffs are very good on this, and I just love the dynamic feel and the dynamic approach. The vocals at times can be a little bit whiny, especially in the choruses, which overall creates an element of surprise. It's really enjoyable songs like The Collapse. Falling Out is such a fun song overall, but what really hits hard are the absolute crushing breakdowns you are getting. Of course, there are some nicer and softer songs on this album, but most of these songs are pretty hard hitting. This album was released in June, and yes, although it didn't make it my best metal albums of the list, because I feel there were other better metalcore albums out there, and better metal albums, I just feel that The Collapse deserves to be on this list just because of how dynamic it feels. And there are some really enjoyable moments as well, like great riffages on The Drift, Glory, Fraud is a fun song, and Fade Away, but I really enjoyed the single The Collapse and Falling Out. Enjoyable moments, the choruses are very catchy and quite sing-alongable. Enjoy the verses, but yeah, it's just a very solid metalcore album. So coming at number 9 is Northlane and the album Obsidian. If you like electronic metal within your metalcore, you're going to really enjoy this. Yes, there are some heavier elements on this album, and not to mention, I do love the dynamic atmosphere. This album, again, is a very experimental album by Northlane, especially the vocal work is very different. Those harsh aggressive vocals are mixed with those really nice clean up vocals, and there are some very good melodic songs on it. Echo Chamber, Carbonized, Abomination, plenty. Really fun songs overall, but there is a layer of electronica on this, and you can tell there's a lot of electronic elements, which overall creates this element of surprise. This album can get meandering at times, but it works overall, and it's a very different sound by Northlane. You could say it's very similar to their previous album, which was Alien, which was released I think in 2019. It's been a while since they released another album, but yeah, this Australian metalcore band is a solid metalcore band, and they have really changed their sound throughout Obsidian, but it is a unique album, a unique metalcore album for 2022, but overall, it's a pretty good LP. So next up is Holofront and the album The Price of Dreaming. This album was released on 27th of May. If you like bands like Landmark, Sleepwalker, Current, Alpha Wolf, and Aviana, you're really going to enjoy this band. And even if you like Polaris, you're going to really enjoy this band. This really focuses on the heavier elements along with the melodic flavors. Great songs like Comatose with those harsh and aggressive vocals, very close to those deathcore-ish moments, but you get some great melodic choruses that really do get stuck in your head. Songs are thick as blood. The Price of Dreaming, I'll tell you what, I really enjoyed it. I think it's one of the best metalcore albums of the year so far. Heritage is probably one of the hardest hitting metalcore songs of 2022. It is so damn friggin' heavy, and yeah, it's just a very enjoyable album overall. One thing about it is that maybe Maybe a few songs could have been cut short, I suppose, and it's also quite progressive. There are a few progressive elements. It's very similar to the band Polaris. If you haven't heard Polaris, they're an Australian metalcore band, and Polaris are just fantastic in what they do. They are one of my favorite metalcore bands of all time, along with this. But yeah, The Price of Dreaming by Holofront is a pretty solid album for what it is. Guitar work's fantastic. I love the texture of this album. Production's phenomenal. Like every single metalcore album I've heard this year, the production has just been on point. A lot of people would say, oh, it's too crisp. That's why I don't like metalcore. I don't like the breakdowns. They fucking sound so edgy. I understand that, but a lot of people love this stuff, including me, and I do love how hard-hitting the breakdowns are on The Price of Dreaming. Next up is Monuments in Stasis. Now, if you do enjoy prog metal, you're probably going to enjoy this. This is on the borderline of progressive metalcore. This is definitely progressive metalcore. If you like Periphery, Tesseract, and even Sky Harbor, you're gonna really enjoy this. Even if you like the Contortionist, an amazing metalcore band as well. They do play around with electronic elements on this, but it really works overall. Like a lot of metalcore bands nowadays plays with electronic elements, and it works. It works. Great songs like Cardinal Red featuring Mick Gordon. Mick Gordon's featured on a lot of metalcore songs this year, including Scoring the End of the World by Motionless in White, which we'll be talking about Motionless in White later on. But Lavos is a great song as well. False Prevalence, Mick Gordon again is on that song. And the Chimerian, which is about 8 minutes, a very long metalcore song, but it is a progressive metalcore album. If you like stuff like this, if you like odd time signals, if you like some gentler, deep, dark, guttural vocals as well, even gentler riffs. Yeah, overall, In Stasis is a fantastic metalcore album for this year. Okay, so next up is Underoath Voyeurist. Very good album overall. One thing I can complain about is that it's a little bit too short in my opinion. Like I just wanted this album to be a little bit longer. It's quite a digestible album as well. Like you want to hear this LP over and over again. Very catchy songs like Hallelujah, Damn Excuses. Mixes more on those hardcore-ish vocals. So if you like those hardcore-ish vocals, not much clean vocals. Like there are some cleaner vocals on this, but it's, in my opinion, it's a lot better than a lot of Underoath albums. Like I do enjoy Underoath. If you like bands such as Norma Jean, which is very similar to Underoath, you're probably going to enjoy this. But yeah, overall this is a pretty dynamic album by Underoath. Really enjoy Cycle featuring Ghost Domain, the trap rapper, metal rapper or whatever. Not really a big fan of Ghost Domain, but I do love his vocals on Cycle. Great riffs on this. Quite progressive, meandering guitar solos on this as well. The riffs are there, and it's atmospheric. It's got this shoegazy element, very different to a metalcore album. In my opinion, it is like DSBM is to black metal. This is to metalcore, so it's very depressing metalcore, and it's very pessimistic, but it's a very enjoyable metalcore album. Okay, so next up is a band I haven't really seen a lot of people mention, and they produced a fantastic friggin' album this year. It's Wolves at the Gate, Eulogies. Cut me open till it's as you can hear from the music clip, banger of an album, Peace That Starts the War. What a metalcore song. Lights and Fire, Kiss the Wave is a fun song. It's catchy, it's melodic. A lot of people would hate it, but I love it. Love the chorus. Dead Weight, No Tomorrow, White Flag, Embrace the Accusation, Silent Anthem, Need I Go On. Just great metalcore songs. Really love the riffs on this. The riffs are very catchy. Rare guitar solos, especially now in metalcore days, but there are some rare guitar solos on this. Peace That Starts the War has a very enjoyable guitar solo. Overall, This Christian metalcore band are kicking goals on this album. Wolves of the Gate, in my opinion, don't really make bad albums. If you like bands like Fit for a King, Silent Planet, you're probably going to enjoy Wolves at the Gate because it has that sound. Imagine those harsh and aggressive vocals throughout the verses and those really nice clean vocals throughout the choruses. Gonna love this, gonna love this. It has a hardcore-ish edge to it, and it is one of the best. Yes, there are electronic elements on this, but it works overall in one whole, tight, complete package. Wolves of the Gate, Eulogies, a must listen. Okay, so next up is Bad Omens, The Death of Peace of Mind. Now, a lot of people are torn between this album. In my opinion, I think it's one of the best metalcore albums. Yes, it's not straight on metalcore, you could say. They do play around with a lot of pop on this album, and that's what I really do enjoy. Great songs like Concrete Jungle, which is basically a pop song, but it really meanders into a hard and hitting metalcore song, especially at the end. Nowhere to Go is a fun alternative song. Take Me First, Death Peace of Mind, they really do play with electronica on this. You got songs like A Villain, is fun. Bad Decisions is probably the most poppy-ish song Bad Omens has ever done. And Who Are You is pretty poppy as well. His vocals are very good on this. I do love those harsh and aggressive vocals that he delivers. His vocal delivery is fantastic. You wouldn't believe the same band that made classics like Glass Houses, Exit Wounds, and The Worst of Me created a song called Who Are You, which is just a weird take in my opinion, because they certainly have gone softer on this album. They when we get to Artificial Suicide, it's one of the heaviest songs they've ever done. Yes, there's a lot of electronic elements, a lot of synthesizers utilized on this album, but it works overall, and it's a pretty addictive LP, very addictive LP. You want to listen to this album over and over again to digest it and listen to it. But yeah, I really enjoyed Bad Omens, A Death of Peace of Mind. It's one of my favorite metalcore albums. Okay, so next up is Bleed From Within and the album Shrine. What can I say? This is an absolute banger of an album. Really love the symphonic elements that build throughout this album. Like, you could say it's a very experimental album by Bleed From Within, because they utilize a lot of cleaner vocals on this. Songs like Levitate is an absolute banger. Flesh and Stone, those breakdowns hit really hard on this. And yeah, it's just an absolute banger. I Am Damnation, Death Defying, Killing Time, Paradise, Flesh and Stone, Levitate. Really enjoyable songs, standout songs that would just bash your head into a wall. This is a pretty heavy album, a pretty heavy metalcore album, but it works overall, and it's one of the best metalcore albums of this year. So yeah, Shrine by Bleed From Within sits here. At number 2 is, a lot of people don't like this album, but I really do. It's Motionless in White, Scoring the End of the World.
So reconnect, stay alive for the sun from the sky.
A lot of people say they cringe, and I don't understand that. Maybe it's because the overall appearance of this band, but I think their music is so tight on this album. It's a different sounding album by Motionless in White, especially songs like Cyber Hex with those electronic elements and has that cosmic feel to it, very cyberpunky feel. Corpse Nation's fantastic. Slaughterhouse is so damn heavy. Yeah, they really play around with the heaviness on this album. There are some great songs, like Chris Motion's vocals are fantastic. Experimental songs throughout, like Werewolf. Porcelain is a pretty fun song overall, and Scoring the End of the World is one of my favorite songs by Motionless in White because of that chorus is absolutely amazing. Again, Mick Gordon is featured on this album. Songs like Masterpiece, which in my opinion is an absolute fantastic song. Love the music video as well. And Meltdown is a really fun way to begin. Sort of sounds like Sum 41, especially that chorus. Listen to that chorus and it sounds like something out of Sum 41, especially that riff. But yeah, Scoring the End of the World by Motionless in White. I'm not going to go on because I know a lot of people don't like him, but I love them, and they're coming in number 2. Okay, so coming in at number 1, my number 1 favorite metalcore album of the year so far. It's going to be incredibly hard to beat, in my opinion. A lot of people don't really talk about this band, but they are respected, you could say. And I'm going to go with Caliban, Dystopia. This is an album that I have played a lot. If you like bands such as Bury Tomorrow, Heaven Shall Burn, Any Given Day, you're going to really enjoy Caliban. Now, Caliban have been around for over 20 years. They have made metalcore for over 20 years now. So you could say they're not the pioneers, but you could say you could say that a lot of bands have been influenced by Caliban. I don't care what anyone says. They are a German band, and they create some amazing music, great albums as well. Like Caliban's discography, in my opinion, is awesome. It really is, and I just love it. Speaking about Heaven Shall Burn's Marcus Bischoff is also featured on this throughout this song, Voyeurist. This is great. I love this album. Dystopia has one of the catchiest fucking choruses of the year. Ascent of the Blessed is so damn good. Swords, Darkness I Became, Dragon, with a weird synth work on that. Mother, The World Breaks Everyone, Divided. Oh, I love this album. This is one of my favorite metalcore albums of the year. One of my favorite metalcore albums, probably since Polaris, To Death of Me, in my opinion. I love it. I love how this album is in a different caliber to any other metalcore album out there this year. It's fantastic. Dystopia by Caliban will probably be in the best metal albums of the year so far. I just really enjoy every single moment of it. I love the vocals on this. The vocals aren't all harsh. There are some beautiful, clean vocals throughout this. And I just really enjoyed Caliban Dystopia. It's a fun metalcore album. That's what you want with metalcore. You want fun metalcore. And yeah, this is a fun metalcore album. Really do enjoy it. And not to mention the breakdowns hit hard on this. If you like breakdowns, you're going to really enjoy Dystopia by Caliban. But yeah, let me know in the comments below your favorite metalcore album of the year so far. Do you agree or disagree with my opinion? So next video we'll be focusing on Discovery, and then the following video we'll be going to Doom Metal. We're going to talk about Doom Metal, the best Doom of 2022 so far. And to end off the week, I will give you my favorite metal albums of the year so far. A lot more albums to talk to you guys about. But yeah, Discovery, a very long episode of Discovery is coming your way. Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one.